Hi, this is John, and today we're back to film episode number 5 to make some chicken pot pie. Okay, so chicken pot pie, it's pretty easy. Chicken, vegetables in a pot with a nice dough over top of it. Easy breezy, no problem. And it's a really good meal to make. It doesn't take that long. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour depending on how quickly you chop and do all your stuff. I like to start from the very get-go. I like to do my dough first that goes on top of the chicken pot pie. So I'm going to start with that. Okay, I'm going to start with my pie dough. I've got 1.25 cups of flour, a tablespoon of sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt in here. And I'm going to mix that in my mixer. So now what we want to do is I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of butter. Yeah, it seems like a lot of butter, but like my mom always said, go big or go home. So I'm going to add 1/2 cup of butter in here. You want to cut it into little tiny pieces, about a quarter inch each. Just a little tiny. We're going to mix it in with the flour. Okay, so I've cut down my butter and I'm going to add it in the little cubes here. Just going to mix this in with the flour a little bit. Then we want to mix this on medium-low just so it resembles sort of like a coarse like cornmeal, or it's got sort of little pea-shaped pieces of butter still in it. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, kind of the texture I want, a little bit shaggy, a little like coarse cornmeal. Again, piece of butter, no bigger really than a pea. So that's good to go. Now what we want to do is add some ice cold water. So I've put some ice and water here to make it ice cold water, and now I need to add a tablespoon at a time into the flour, just on low, just so it mixes in and basically forms a dough for us. Okay, it's coming together nice. I'm feeling pretty good with that. See how it just forms together into a dough really easily? That's great. Okay, so now we're going to make the crust. I just want to form sort of a ball here. Beautiful. So what we're going for here is sort of a roundish dough top that's about 12 inches wide and about 1/8 of an inch thick. I basically want to make sure my pot is going to fit over it and it'll be perfect. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm just going to put this aside and save that for later. Okay, ingredient list, pretty straightforward. I've got chicken thighs, chicken broth, peas, carrots, and corn. Half and half, or I'm going to use light cream in this case. Flour, shallot, egg, pepper, salt, white wine, and the beer is actually for me. It's not going in this today. So let's get cooking. Okay, so what I've done is I've actually added 1 cup of carrots and 1 cup of peas in here, and what I'm going to do is just blanch them in some water just for about 3 minutes, just for them to cook just a little bit, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so what I've got is I've got my chicken thighs. I've got 4 chicken thighs, which I'm going to take the skin off and take the bone out, and then cut up into little pieces about like 1 inch square or so. And then I'm going to mix that with the butter. Now I use chicken thighs instead of chicken breasts because chicken thighs don't dry out as quickly as chicken breasts do, and they tend to stay moist, so they're the way to go. Okay, I've added 2 tablespoons of butter to my pan around medium-high heat. I'm going to let that melt down, and then I'm going to add my chicken in that I've cut up and put that in for about 8 minutes until it browns up nice, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I just put my chicken in the pan, and I'm just going to let that cook down for about 8 minutes until it gets nice and just starts to brown a little bit. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of shallot, which is right here. I don't know if you can see it, it's right here. I'm going to add that into the pan for 2 minutes, and then I basically add in my flour, my wine, my half and half, my chicken broth, let that simmer down a little bit, add in my vegetables, mix it together, drop it in my pot, put the dough over top, in the oven, 30 minutes, done. Very good. Alright, that's my cork rest. Alright, chicken's done. I'm going to add in my 2 tablespoons of shallot for 2 minutes and just let that brown down, and then add my flour in. Okay, once the shallots have been in for 2 minutes, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of flour. Then I'm going to add 1/2 cup of white wine, 1/2 cup of my half and half, or light cream, and 1/2 cups of chicken stock. We'll add that in, bring it to a simmer, and then I'm going to cover the pot and just let it cook for about 10 minutes. Okay, this is just starting to simmer just a little bit, it'll be perfect. I'm going to lower the temperature down to low and, like I said, cover it and just let it cook for about 10 minutes. Okay, the chicken's been in for 10 minutes now. I'm going to add in my peas and carrots and my corn, mix it in, and then we're going to finish this baby off. So I'm just going to use just this half can of corn and add it in with the peas and carrots. Okay, I'm going to add it into my dish now. Okay, so what I have here is an egg yolk and a teaspoon of water. I'm just going to mix that together. And just brush that along the top of the bowl. Now I'm going to add my dough over top and we'll be off to the races. Okay, so I've got my dough and I'm just going to brush some of this dough onto my round and then carefully try to put this on back on top of my chicken pot pie. Okay, so I'm just going to press down on the edges all the way around. Gonna brush the rest of my egg on top here. Just gotta cut a couple of little slits in the top. Okay, final step. We have to put the chicken pot pie into the oven. 400 degrees for about 30 minutes, and then we eat. Take a look at that. Put your hands together one time. Looks good. We'll see you next time.
I like chicken pot pie.
I like chicken pot pie.
I like chicken pot pie.